Chicago story from the other side of the tracks. The summer I turned 16, I got a waitress job at the glamorous Lilac Lodge, a swanky steakhouse west of Chicago, 2 blocks from where Al Capone was buried. I later found out that the New York Times had actually done an article about 6 restaurants linked to syndicated crime. Lilac Lodge was cited as one of them. But I knew none of this, nor did my parents. I was just excited to get the job. So the first week on the job was a blur. I had to learn everything from garnishing 100 cocktails to how to make cappuccinos. The customers I served were mostly men having 2 martini lunches. It's 1970. Picture Mad Men meets Mafia. But the big rollers were all served in the bar area called Lulubelle's Boudoir. Look it up, seriously, Lulubelle's Boudoir. Dark walls with paintings of voluptuous women. Strictly off limits to me. So if you've ever been a waitress, you know it's hard work. Taking orders and serving scalding plates is just the start. You have to be a master at multitasking. Patrons get incredibly cranky if you so much as forget a lemon wedge or a blue cheese olive. Back then, you also had to be equally delicate at handling drunks as you were deboning Dover of Soul tableside. So one day, I get a call at the last minute, my big break, a chance to work the Saturday night shift, to serve a large party of 24 in the elegant safari room with game heads mounted on the walls, rhino, rogue elephants, and I was to apprentice under Tiffany. Now, Tiffany was the Beyonce of waitresses, the queen bee, a veteran at 26, gorgeous with big platinum blonde hair. Tiffany was Boss Man's favorite. Boss Man had black, jet black hair, slicked straight back, Al Pacino style. Scary. But Tiffany took me under her wing and said, "Don't worry, sugar, I'll take care of you." The evening started out great. Our large party was ordering drinks by the dozens. Tiffany and I were gliding through the safari room like gazelles across the savannah, serving cocktails and appetizers with ease. There was a long corridor. In fact, even Boss Man nodded approval to Tiffany. But there was a long corridor between the safari room and the kitchen, and right off it was a large ballroom for a wedding reception, which was about to begin. So we waited for the guests to clear from the hallway, preparing our 24 hot entrees in the kitchen, piping hot. I remember going through the order in my head while in the kitchen. Okay, porterhouse at the head of the table, then prime rib, then shrimp Zambezi, surf and turf, baby back ribs, chicken Kiev. Got it. But Tiffany knew I was still a novice, so she said, "Sweetie, you go get the salad plates. I'll bring the entrees." So I dutifully went and gathered the salad plates from the safari room. Tiffany had hoisted up a huge tray with 12 steaming entrees onto her shoulder. I saw Tiffany coming down the hall, perfectly balancing this huge tray on her right shoulder. I remember marveling at the finesse with which she sashayed down the hall. I also heard the booming voice of the MC from the wedding room saying, "All rise, please join me in welcoming the bride and groom." The bride was poised at the entrance to the ballroom. Then suddenly I saw Tiffany wobble with the tray. I watched in horror. Tiffany had accidentally stepped on the back of the bridal dress with this long 10-foot train flowing into the hallway. I watched in horror and slow motion as 12 entrees took flight into the air, lids one way, entrees another, falling smack onto the wedding dress. One huge steaming mound of messy meals on a sea of satin. Well, I cringed in the hallway, staring at Tiffany in abject terror. All hell broke loose. Wedding guests leaped to their feet, screaming in Italian. Boss man emerged from the shadows, gliding forward like Darth Vader, inches from Tiffany's nose, uttering, snarling almost, saying, "Tiffany, come with me to the office." I saw them disappear. I wanted to say, but it's not her fault. She couldn't see. She was carrying a huge tray. But I didn't do any of that. I stood, feet rooted in the ground, silent and immobile. That was the last I saw of Tiffany that day, all her mastery seemingly for naught. I learned a lesson that day at Lilac Lodge. It's a lesson many of you already know. Doesn't seem to matter how much you've accomplished on a job, you're only as good as the last surf and turf that makes it to the table. Thank you.